So we're referring to the investment proposition as an alliance of best ideas. So the idea is that we pick 8 or 9 of the very best stock pickers in the world and blend them together such that the overall portfolio is still relatively diversified but has a strong outperformance expectation. So typically the managers are running less than 20 stocks, just their very best ideas in each of their portfolios. There are essentially 2 advantages to investing this way. The first is that the multi-manager approach ensures that you've got greater consistency of returns. Each of the managers are going to have naturally a different style that works in a particular market and works less well in other market conditions. By blending 8 managers that are quite different, you're going to get more consistency of performance. And then the other piece of this is that because there are much more concentrated portfolios that is typically the case, you can actually still have a high expected return at the total fund level. There's a lot of evidence out there that shows highly concentrated portfolios tend to outperform significantly other more diversified portfolios. The overall performance target of the portfolio is to outperform the MSCI All Country World Index by 2% per annum after all costs over rolling 3-year periods. When putting the portfolio together, we've borne in mind the yield that's required in order to allow the trust to continue its progressive dividend policy over time. So whilst we haven't told each manager a specific yield requirement, some of the managers have been chosen knowing that their natural style and approach leads to a higher yield in the portfolio, while others less so, but when blended gives you the appropriate yield for a progressive dividend policy. The overall charges for the trust are less than 65 basis points per annum, so 0.65% per annum. So each of the managers individually does have a distinctive style. We've specifically targeted picking managers that think about the world very differently and have low correlations to each other. Each individual manager will outperform over the long term. But in recognition of the fact that each of them has a distinct style, there will be periods where they do very well and periods where they do less well. By blending a number of managers that have got different styles and are uncorrelated with each other, what you can do is still get that long-term outperformance, but do it with much more consistent outperformance year in, year out. We start with the principle of wanting approximately an equal contribution from each of the managers. Now that's not the same as an equal amount of money given to each of the managers. Some of the portfolios are a bit more risky at any point in time than others, but essentially we start with that principle. Then we'll move away from those equal contributions depending on what the overall portfolio looks like, and our role as the overall investment manager is to ensure that the portfolio is dominated by stock selection and not by macro factors, and so we will ensure by the weightings to the managers that there isn't a big country position or a big industry position relative to the MSCI All Country World Index benchmark.